Dinosaurs didn't develop intelligence not because they were dumb, but because they were too successful. A Tyrannosaurus rex had a bite force of 13 tons, a Triceratops could flip a tank with a headbutt, and a Stegosaurus could break a tree in half with a swing of its tail. They didn't need to think. But do you know what human ancestors were doing? Being chased by lions, bitten by leopards, even wild dogs could bully them. Without thinking, they would die. Even more outrageous is that in the year 2022, Cambridge University discovered a type of dinosaur with an encephalization quotient higher than that of chimpanzees. They would hunt in groups, communicate using sounds, and even care for the old, weak, sick, and disabled. This was the beginning of intelligence, but the asteroid gave no chance. They all died overnight, while turtles, lizards, and crocodiles with brains the size of peanuts all survived. Evolution took 300 million years, using countless fossils to tell you that the strong do not need wisdom. Only the weak are forced to use their brains. The 160 million years of dinosaur dominance is precisely why they didn't develop large brains, because when you are at the top of the food chain, thinking is a waste of energy. Do you want to know how exaggerated this is? Let's do the math. The human brain burns 500 calories a day, equivalent to 5 bowls of rice, accounting for 2% of body weight, but consuming 20% of energy. This is the most unprofitable deal in the universe. If a Tyrannosaurus rex had a brain as big as a human's, it would need to eat 200 kilograms more meat every day, and over a year, it would have to hunt 73 more Triceratops. This is simply not cost effective. But during the dinosaur era, meat was everywhere. A Tyrannosaurus rex could easily take a bite and be full, so why would it need to think? And your ancestors? They couldn't outrun lions on the African savannah, couldn't fight leopards, and even hyenas bullied them. If they didn't use their brains, they would really die. So, humans were forced to expand their brains from 400 milliliters to 1,400 milliliters, taking 3 million years. Dinosaurs didn't make this choice, so they ruled for 160 million years, but never learned how to live. Even more terrifying is the temperature issue. Your brain can only function normally at 37 degrees. If it's 1 degree lower, you fall into a coma. 1 degree higher, you have convulsions. And dinosaurs are cold-blooded animals. In the morning it's 20 degrees, at noon 35 degrees, and at night 15 degrees, so their brains couldn't function stably. In 2023, a scientific journal scanned 200 dinosaur skull fossils and found that the brain temperatures of all dinosaurs fluctuated, with a maximum temperature difference of up to 18 degrees. What does that mean? If your brain temperature fluctuates by 5 degrees, you would die. This means dinosaurs were getting dumber every day, waking up with an IQ of 60 in the morning, reaching 80 by noon, and dropping back to 50 by evening. They simply couldn't develop complex thinking. But do you know what's even more despairing? Dinosaurs had actually started evolving intelligence. In 1982, paleontologists in Canada unearthed a fossil of a dinosaur called Troodon, which had a brain-to-body mass ratio of 0.3, already close to that of early humans. It can use its front claws to grab things, its eyes are positioned at the front for stereoscopic vision, and it can walk upright. Scientists created a model projecting its evolution 5 million years into the future, and the computer-generated image made everyone's scalp tingle. It grew to a height of 1.2 meters, lost its tail, had 3 fingers, and its brain capacity reached 1,000 milliliters. Even more frightening is that geological records show that 1 million years before the asteroid impact, the number of Troodon fossils was surging, and they were expanding globally. If the asteroid had come a million years later, the one sitting across from you in a meeting might be a lizard person in a suit, and humans might never have appeared. But history has no ifs. 65 million years ago, a 10-kilometer diameter asteroid collided with Earth at a speed of 20 kilometers per second. The energy released upon impact was equivalent to 10 billion Hiroshima atomic bombs. The shockwaves swept across the globe within 24 hours, and temperatures soared to 300 degrees. All large animals were roasted, and the dinosaurs with bigger brains died first. Why? Because the brain consumes too much energy. When the world entered a nuclear winter, sunlight was blocked by dust, plants died in large numbers, and the food chain collapsed. Those dinosaurs with large brains and fast metabolisms needed 3 times the food of ordinary dinosaurs each day, and they quickly starved to death. And what about those turtles and crocodiles with brains the size of walnuts? They can go months without eating, hiding underwater, and waiting patiently. Being dumb actually became an advantage for survival. This is the cruel truth of evolution. Intelligence is a luxury, not a necessity. But you might ask, what about birds? They are descendants of dinosaurs. Now crows use tools, make plans, and their intelligence surpasses all dinosaurs. That's right, the key is here. Birds evolved a warm-blooded system, keeping their body temperature fixed at around 40 degrees, allowing their brains to operate at full speed 24 hours a day. This is why crows evolved the ability to use tools in 10 million years, while dinosaurs didn't achieve it in 160 million years. Now, let's look at body structure. Why were humans able to develop civilization? Because we have flexible hands that can grasp, pinch, precisely control, polish wood, sharpen stones, and maintain fire. But what about dinosaurs? The Tyrannosaurus rex's forelimbs are so short, they can't even reach its own mouth. The Stegosaurus's forelimbs have to support its body to walk, and the Triceratops's claws are too large. Let alone building skyscrapers, they find it difficult to perform delicate operations. Imagine a several-ton dinosaur bending down to sharpen a stone axe. Its body structure was not designed for developing intelligence from the start. The only ones with flexible forelimbs were those small dinosaurs about the size of a chicken. But here's the problem. Animals with relatively low body weight simply cannot support a human-level brain, which is called the energy bottleneck. So dinosaurs were stuck. Large dinosaurs had the energy but not the body, while small dinosaurs had the body but not enough energy. It's like wanting to buy a house but either having the money without the residency permit or having the residency permit without the money. So you just can't buy it. The final fatal issue is that the ecological niche was too stable. Dinosaurs dominated for 600 million years. During this time, the Earth's climate was incredibly stable, with no large-scale ice ages, no drastic temperature fluctuations. Forests spread across the continents like a green ocean, and even in the Antarctic region, many plants and animals survived. What does this environment mean for living beings? It means there was simply no need to evolve brains. Most herbivorous dinosaurs had extremely abundant resources. Even if they flattened a small forest in a day, they couldn't finish eating it. Food was just a few steps away, and carnivorous dinosaurs also had a stable food supply because of this. The climate was stable, food was stable, hunting methods were stable, and even predator-prey relationships were more stable than a script. So in this era, almost every species was on the same path, becoming bigger, stronger, and faster. When survival doesn't require thinking, when food doesn't need tools, when predators can be dealt with physically, intelligence instead becomes a burden. Compare this to humans. Why did we evolve intelligence? Because we were pushed to the limit by the environment and predators. At the most dangerous times, the entire population of late Homo sapiens ancestors was reduced to just a few hundred, nearly facing extinction. When the Ice Age came, it was either freeze to death or starve to death. No sharp claws, no thick fur, no strong muscles. What to do? You could only use your brain. Learn to use fire, learn to make clothes, learn to cooperate in hunting, learn to make tools. Every step was like walking on a tightrope in front of the gates of hell. So our choice to evolve our brains was actually a desperate choice, a forced decision. Dinosaurs choosing to strengthen their bodies was the most normal evolutionary path for organisms, because relying solely on their bodies, they could overcome everything without needing such complex things. If we humans were 30 meters tall and could easily knock down a small hill with a slap, we wouldn't choose to evolve our brains. Think about it. If you were Godzilla, would you still learn math? So after seeing all this, do you understand? Dinosaurs are not unintelligent. They simply had no reason to be intelligent. Intelligence is not the endpoint of evolution, but a product of a very specific ecological pressure. In the age of dinosaurs, there was no such pressure. On the contrary, whoever dared to stop and think would be eaten. Large carnivorous dinosaurs were constantly upgrading their hunting skills. Large herbivorous dinosaurs were desperately growing bigger, growing horns and bony plates, while small dinosaurs were busy increasing their running speed and alertness. No evolutionary path pushed them towards abstract thinking, language structure, or social cooperation. Moreover, the evolution of life has no relation to time. The ultimate goal of evolution is to survive better. As long as the species can survive, why keep changing themselves? For example, flies and mosquitoes have also lived from the dinosaur era to today. They're still living well, even becoming more prosperous. So why would they need to evolve? Say or tasi. We humans think evolving intelligence is a good thing, but in fact, we are just a newly emerged species, let alone surviving for 100 million years. At the current rate of development, we might very well destroy ourselves in a short time. So time will prove that the emergence of intelligence might actually be the failed option in evolution. Dinosaurs used 160 million years of dominance to learn a lesson. You cannot be both Tyson and Einstein. You cannot dominate with muscles and reshape the world with fine tools. Dinosaurs bet all their resources, energy, genes, and direction on physical ability, strength, weaponization, and gigantism. Once you go far down this path, there is no turning back. Mammals were forced to hide at night, relying on smell, memory, and intelligence to survive, which led them down the so-called path of wisdom. Evolution is not fair competition. It is a game of niche allocation. The path of dinosaurs was stable and successful, with no reason to switch, while humans were forced into wisdom by dire circumstances. So even if dinosaurs were given another 100 million or 200 million years, they probably wouldn't reach the step of civilization because they were locked into their own success. It's not that there isn't enough time, but that the direction is wrong. Finally, let me ask you a question. Do you know what the smartest existing descendants of dinosaurs are? The answer is ravens. Their intelligence is equivalent to that of a 7-year-old child. They can use tools, make plans, and even deceive their peers. They took 10 million years to complete the path that dinosaurs couldn't finish in 160 million years. Why? Because they are warm-blooded animals, small in size, with low energy needs, flexible bodies, and the environment forced them to become smarter to survive. This is the truth of evolution. Intelligence is not a gift, it is a cost. Dinosaurs ruled for 160 million years, but they chose muscle. Humans only took a few million years, but we were forced to choose the brain. Do you still think dinosaurs are dumb? Let me know in the comments.